This is Tabula Rasa, and we're commenting on popular culture. I won't overload you in this video with the same point over and over again, or at least I'll try not to. But needless to say, Butch Hartman has been making the rounds on YouTube and whatever social media you might be on. The latest problem being the Mikasa Ackerman controversy. But as I said in the title card, you shouldn't be worried about Butch Hartman. Now, some of you might be thinking, say what now? Or, you must be crazy. Or, yes, I knew it. He's my guy. And I'll be honest, I don't think any of you guys will probably like my view of this. Now, for those of you who don't know, this is Butch Hartman. He is best known for Fairly Odd Parents, Danny Phantom, Tough Puppy, and Bunsen is a Beast, at least according to his Wikipedia page. And for a lot of people, he is their childhood afternoon or whatever, right? They enjoy his cartoons, right? I am not one of those people. I'll be honest, it just never was for me. I never liked Timmy Turner or Danny Phantom or that kind of stuff. But in the recent years, he has gathered some controversies over some few things. All the controversies I am reciting I got from filmdaily.co and youtube.fandom.com and Perry Gull's view on his O-Axis thing. Speaking of O-Axis, entertainment, Kickstarter fiasco, more or less. A lot of it doing with a lack of faith disclosure. His views on mental health issues, in which his opinion should never be listened to. Not because, his opinion doesn't matter, it's because he's not a mental health professional. So you shouldn't be listening to him for mental health advice. Full stop. Views on the LGBTQ plus, not good. And the latest, tracing Mikasa Ackerman from Attack on Titan from a Japanese artist who made fan art. And I think I heard some people say that he collaborated with someone and never paid them or something. Either way, someone could just get back to me on that or in the comments below. Now, currently, I guess he does his work mainly revolves around doing commissions and working with his wife on healing journeys, which, going back to his views on mental health and LGBT stuff. And he also made Hobby Kids Adventures, which was released back in 2019. Now, a lot of the people are upset at him. After all, he's traced work to pass off as his own, and he charges a lot of money, around $200 for it, amongst other things. Now, for many of its critics, and for the sampling of videos I've watched on YouTube regarding this, a lot of them are art students, and a lot of the art students, or people who are in the arts, are pissed. Because, for one thing, they all think they can draw better, which is subjective, because art is subjective. They think he's manipulative, and because he's shady and a jerk. And you know what? I can't blame them for their anger. But again, you really shouldn't be worried about him. You might be thinking, well, how can you say that? Right? I mean, after all, he did bad things, bad people, bad. And here's some facts that you have to admit, and you can't remove them or ignore them because it doesn't fit with your schema of Butch Hartman or the situation he's in. 1. He has fans, which means he has a base to rely on, as showcased by his Instagram and YouTube and TikTok, whatever, right? He has fans. 2. The majority of those fans will continue to support him, unless he does something egregious, like, rape, murder children, something like that. And even then, not all of them will go away, let's be honest. So, that being said, don't worry about him, because here is a veteran of the animation industry. Apparently he likes to say that, according to the videos I've watched. He always says, he's worked in the industry for 20 years. Hell, he even wrote a book about it, too. And he is saying he takes commissions on social media like an art student or an art influencer. Think about that. A 20-year veteran of the animation industry is taking commissions on social media like an art student or an art influencer on social media. Some of you might be thinking right now, what does that mean? So let's put it into context. Take example, Olivia de Berardinis, right? Artists who attended the New York School of Visual Arts from 1967 to 1970. Started off doing minimalist paintings, has pieces in the Aldrich Museum of Contemporary Arts back in the 70s. She is best known today for her pinup style since 1975, where her skills were honed in erotic men's magazines, Playboy and whatnot. It is needless to say, she is a master of the female form and pinup style. And disclosure here, I'm a big fan of hers. I bought Malibu Cheesecake, her book, and I follow her on Instagram. No shame. Her prints are on sale on art.sideshow.com. Limited edition prints, which means they're not the actual artwork, they're a printing of the artwork, and they go for $200 unframed, $450 framed. And these are limited edition. They only have about 100, 150, something like that, made with her signature, and you can get those. She also sells original work. Her auction pieces go for 5 digits, so that's in the tens of thousands, with the highest being 65,725. Now, when you put that into perspective, those prints sound like a steal, no? Right? And she didn't even have to make a cartoon to get that, or tell people she does commissions, right? But, I'm hearing objections. She's not a cartoonist. She draw tits. She draw ass. Not the same thing. And you know what? True. All true. But it goes to show clearly that she's on a different level compared to Hartman, and you can have access to her art for about the same price as his commission for that Mikasa Ackerman. So how about? But you know what? You're right. Different one, different strokes. It's like comparing apples to oranges, right? So what about Frank Cho, right? Comic book artist, best known for Liberty Meadows, his work. Also illustrated for Marvel Comics, including Spider-Man, Mighty Avengers, Hulk, X-Men, Shauna the She-Devil, and Savage Wolverine. Also drew covers for DC Comics. His biggest acclaim for that was his Harley Quinn covers. Other works include Fight Girls and World of Pain. I know him mostly for his Wheat Cakes cover. God, I wish there was a book for all of that. I would buy it in a heartbeat. He does commissions, but you do have to go through his art manager and dealer. His name is Steve Morger, and here's his email. And there is a list, which means it's limited and it closes. And I don't think it's going to be $200 cheap. Now, he does auction off his pencil sketches, which are sometimes partially inked because they're not finished, through Steve Morger on the Facebook group Big Wow exclamation point art Facebook group. The pencil sketches and partial inks in auction through Facebook go for about $2,000 to $3,000 easy, right? Mind you, it's only a group full of 3,000 people, so it's only a couple of them. Just be like, I want that picture. He also, and these are just pencil sketches. They're not even colored like the Mikasa Ackerman one. Ballpoint pen drawings that he's done, they go for easily $4,000 for a single figure, 5,000 for a double. And again, I'm hearing objections. He's a comic book artist. It's just more tits and ass. Fine, that's true, right? But the work speaks for himself, right? He doesn't pander to people trying to show he can draw whatever character, and he's certainly not, showing that, hey, I do commissions. I mean, he said it in a Facebook video only because people keep asking him, "Hey, can you do commissions?" And he's like, "Yeah, I do, but you have to go through my guy, and there's a list, and it's limited, and I got other stuff to do." So that tells you it ain't cheap. Now, but again, you know what? You're right. Apples to oranges to tangerines. That's what we're dealing with, right? So what about Bruce Timm? Emmy award-winning artist, writer, director, and producer, and worked in the animation industry for nearly 30 years, mostly within the DC animated universe for Warner Brothers Animation, but that just means you get consistency. For some of you who might remember, Batman the Animated Series, Timm. Superman the Animated Series, Timm. Batman Beyond, Justice League, and Justice League Unlimited, Gods and Monsters, Timm. To say that he shaped your childhood, especially if you were a big fan of superheroes back in the 90s and early 2000s, is a fact. Though, personally, I think some of his later choices were weird, like Barbara and Bruce in The Killing Joke. I mean, that was always part of the canon thing, thanks to Batman Beyond, but again, whatever. But guess what? He doesn't do commissions through social media. In fact, trying to find through Google, I don't know if he does, to be honest. He might. I mean, what artist doesn't? But here's the thing. You and I, the average Joe Schmo, plain Jane, and whatever in between, ain't gonna get it. He does some stuff at Comic Con, apparently. You go to a booth, he draws a picture of your face, quick ink sketch or marker sketch, right? For probably about $50, right? And he doesn't do, but that's like a steal considering that he doesn't do commission. That means, here's the thing with those quick marker sketches, and those of you who are in art school understand, especially, there is an exercise that you do if you're learning art in art school, in that they time you into doing something. Some of it may be gesture drawing, figure drawing, and that kind of stuff. So if an artist is drawing you in less than 5 minutes, you're thinking, wow, how can you do that? Well, they, especially if they've been to school, they kind of train for that. 5 minutes, sketch. 5 minutes, sketch. 5 minutes, sketch. 5 minutes, sketch. And you try to do what you can within that time. And sometimes they even go down to 2 minutes, 1 minute. I even had experience where it's like 30 seconds, go. Another 30 seconds, go. Switch things, 30 seconds, go. Right? And that's just a tangent. But point is, Bruce Timm, veteran like Butch Hartman, right? Drawing simplified like Butch Hartman, right? Don't do commissions. At least not one that the regular person is going to be able to hit him up on his DMs and pay 200 measly dollars to get something that you could probably get from a recent graduate from art school. And quick. And likely better than Butch Hartman. Because, art school be expensive and them artists be starving. So, if you're worried about Butch Hartman, don't be. He's not going to suffer. He has the fans. But guess what? Unless he does something game changing in the medium that he works in, which is cartooning or animation, he isn't really going to get new fans. He might be like, oh, yeah, I remember that as a kid. But beyond that, who knows if he's going to do anything new or different. But now, you guys know a couple artists who are masters of anatomy and their style, where you can buy it and know you are getting quality. And guess what? The art world has grown exponentially, and there are plenty of people who can do your commissions in whatever style, including Hartman's style, and you'll definitely get your money's worth. I'm pretty sure you've all seen Draw Whatever in What Style, right? I mean, come on. This guy, Butch Hartman, is supposed to be a veteran of the industry, and he's only selling for $200. Although, that being said, as of this video that I'm making, you can't get it through his Insta anymore. So, this guy, right, supposedly veteran, is a C tier kind of guy. Don't worry about him. This has been Tabula Rasa. If you liked what you heard on the channel, like, subscribe, leave a comment. I don't I won't delete comments or anything like that, but, I gotta get comments first, but who cares? Don't worry about them. If you like, subscribe, hit the bell, all that fun stuff. This has been Tabula Rasa. I'm Butch Hartman. Peace. 怒らないで当たらないでエミリーこっち向いて話聞いてお願いかき混ぜすぎこぼれちゃうよストローはそんな噛む代わりに俺のハートどうぞ噛んで睨まないで無視しないでエミリー腹が減ると無口になる